We're always looking up at the stars, thinking about the next great frontier. But what if I told you one of the most mysterious, most unexplored places in the universe is right here, on our own planet? Today, we're taking a journey to the deep sea, a realm of crushing pressure, total darkness, and life that is stranger than any science fiction. Okay, let's start with a number to wrap your head around: 10,984 meters. That's the depth of the Challenger Deep, the deepest known point in our oceans. Now, to really put that in perspective, imagine taking Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, and flipping it upside down into the trench. Its peak wouldn't even come close to the surface. You'd still have over 2 kilometers of water above it. We're talking about a scale of depth that is just mind-boggling. And here's a crazy fact for you. We literally have better maps of the surface of the moon, and even Mars, than we do of our own ocean floor. Think about that for a second. The deep sea is the single largest habitat on our planet, and it is a realm of profound mystery, governed by conditions so extreme they force us to completely redefine what we think is possible for life itself. So what even is the deep sea? Well, it officially begins where the sunlight finally gives up, and that's around 200 meters down. From that point on, it's a whole different world, and everything that lives here has to deal with 3 huge, unrelenting challenges: absolute, total darkness, temperatures that are just about freezing, and a pressure so immense it's hard to even describe. These aren't just minor inconveniences. They're the fundamental rules of the game down there. All right, so imagine we're descending now. The first thing to go is the sun. The blues get deeper and deeper until they're just gone. We've officially entered a world of perpetual night. And with that one simple change, the entire foundation for life as we know it gets thrown right out the window. See, with no sun, there's no photosynthesis. That means the whole base of the food web, plants, algae, phytoplankton, it just can't exist here. So what do things eat? Well, for most of the deep, the energy source is something called marine snow. It's this constant, gentle shower of organic stuff, waste, dead plankton, bits of fish, raining down from the sunlit world miles above. But in some really special spots, life found a completely alien solution: chemosynthesis. Down at volcanic hydrothermal vents, bacteria have learned to eat chemicals bubbling up from the Earth's core, creating entire ecosystems that have never, ever seen a single ray of sunlight. Okay, so we've left the light behind, but now we have to face the second great challenge: pressure. And this isn't just a little uncomfortable. We're talking about a physical force so powerful it can literally crush a military submarine like a tin can. The scientific term is hydrostatic pressure, but the concept is really simple. It's just the weight of all that water above you pressing down and in on you from every single direction at once. And as you go deeper, that weight becomes absolutely astronomical. And here's how quickly it ramps up. Right now at the surface, we're all under what's called 1 atmosphere of pressure. But for every 10 meters, that's about 33 feet, that you go down in the ocean, you add another entire atmosphere of pressure. It's a relentless compounding force that just builds and builds. So by the time you reach the bottom of the Mariana Trench, you're experiencing over 1,000 times the pressure you feel right now. The best analogy I've ever heard is this: imagine an elephant standing on every single square inch of your body. It's a force that would instantly pulverize almost any living thing from our world. And look, this danger isn't theoretical. This horrifying quote describes what happened during the Byford Dolphin accident in 1983. A sudden decompression from just 9 atmospheres to 1 had these consequences. It's an absolutely brutal reminder of the violent physics that govern this environment. And yet, here's the amazing part. Despite the endless dark and that unimaginable crushing force, life is here. It's not life as we recognize it, though. These creatures are so bizarre, so perfectly adapted, they might as well be aliens from another world. So how on earth do they pull it off? I mean, that's the big question, right? How can anything at all, survive here? Total darkness, freezing temperatures, and a pressure that can turn bone to dust. It seems completely impossible. The answer lies in some of the most incredible and, frankly, weirdest adaptations on the planet. To live here, you need a very special toolkit. First up, you make your own light. That's bioluminescence, using it to attract prey, find a mate, or scare off predators in the dark. To deal with the pressure, you can't have things like air-filled swim bladders. They'd collapse. So many creatures have soft, gelatinous bodies. Food is super scarce, so you evolve a slow metabolism to conserve every last calorie. And to make absolutely sure that the one meal you might see this month doesn't escape, you develop things like these absolutely enormous jaws and terrifying teeth. And just look at what a difference these adaptations make. Here we're comparing two squids. On one side, a regular reef squid from the shallows. Familiar, right? On the other, wow, that is the big fin squid from the abyss. It looks like a ghost. It's nearly see-through, and its tentacles are impossibly long, with these weird elbow-like bends. It just hangs there, motionless, like some kind of deep-sea specter. And the adaptations just get weirder. Of course, you have the famous anglerfish, with its own built-in glowing fishing rod. Then there's the pelican eel, which is basically just a giant, hinged mouth with a stomach attached, able to swallow things much, much bigger than itself. And then you have the Mariana snailfish, the deepest fish ever found. It's soft and gelatinous, almost like a tadpole, which is exactly what allows it to survive pressures that would crush us into nothing. All these alien creatures live in a world that we've really only just started to visit. The story of humanity's quest to reach the very bottom of our own planet is an incredible tale of ingenuity, courage, and that relentless human drive to see what's over the next horizon. We first measured the trench's depth way back in 1875, but it took until 1960 for the submersible Trieste to finally carry two men to the bottom. It was an incredible achievement and so difficult that it wasn't repeated for over 50 years, until filmmaker James Cameron did it solo in 2012. And more recently, in 2019, explorer Victor Vescovo started making multiple dives, proving that this once impossible place was finally becoming accessible. Can you just imagine that moment in 1960, the crew of the Trieste peering through a tiny, thick porthole, expecting to see a dead, sterile wasteland, but instead, they were shocked to see life. They described the bottom as a kind of firm ooze, and then they saw what looked like a flatfish swimming by. It was a revolutionary discovery, proving that life could exist even under the most extreme pressure on the entire planet. But then, almost 60 years later, when Victor Vescovo made it to that very same spot, he found something else alongside those natural wonders. He found our footprint, a plastic bag and candy wrappers. At the deepest, most remote, most inaccessible place on Earth. You know, this journey to the bottom reveals two really profound truths. First, that life is so much more resilient and creative than we ever could have imagined. And second, that our impact on this planet is more widespread than we ever feared. But the story, it's really far from over. Because despite all these incredible journeys, here is the stark reality. We have explored less than 5% of our planet's oceans. Take a look at that. More than 95% of this realm remains completely unknown, unmapped, and unseen by human eyes. So yes, we've touched the very bottom, but that's like planting a flag on one single grain of sand on all the beaches of the world. We are standing on the shore of the greatest wilderness left to explore. And with over 95% of it still a complete mystery, it leaves you with one massive lingering question. What else is down there?